Welcome back, everyone. Joining us now is Fred McClimans, partner and head of research at Samadhi Partners. Fred, over the past few days, there's been a lot of talk about Apple potentially maybe becoming its own supplier and not so reliant on some of these smaller suppliers out there. We want you to weigh in on this. How successful do you think Apple might be in this?
Well, first, let me just state that, in full disclosure here, my partners and I at Samadhi have been a bit bearish on Apple. In part because they kind of have lost that innovation mojo to really make, significant transformational efforts into the marketplace. But what we're seeing now is sort of a different breed of Apple. Cook really starting to excel at the operations side. And if you think about the differences for a company like Apple, when you're, breaking into entirely new markets, that's one thing. But when you're really focusing on, operations and excellence in that area, there's a certain point at which controlling your own IP, being able to create custom chips and products for your products that nobody else can touch, that becomes incredibly valuable. And that's what we're seeing here.
But Fred, one of the things that we've seen over the years is Apple has blamed it on the supply chain, saying that they're having production issues because the suppliers don't have all their sticks in order, whatever it may be. And so do you think this move by Apple is specifically because of that, to make sure that there aren't any supply issues down the road?
I don't think it's specifically because of that. I mean, there's certainly some IP benefits and production benefits associated with that. But, if you look at this, I mean, their latest victim here is rumored to be Dialog Semiconductor. This is a firm that provides the power management chips for the iPhone. Power management, that's critical to Apple. That's an area where they've kind of lagged behind, and they need to really aggressively move forward. And they may be able to do that internally over the next couple of years a little bit more effectively and control more of their IP. They just released last year a Bluetooth wireless chip that they brought in-house. They also are moving away from Imagination Technology, another company based in the UK.
Why? I mean, they have such an ability to grind down suppliers. The Imagine Technology example, they can put a company out of business. So it would seem like, I don't know why they would possibly need to do this stuff themselves.
So, there is a cost issue. And if you're a certain size company, you can get economies of scale and better efficiencies by offshoring a lot of that. But at a certain point, Amazon is a good example here, where they've brought technologies and business models in-house because they can operate that more efficiently and control it much more effectively. And, when there is a delay in the supply chain, that's deadly to Apple. So the more control over that they can gain, and as these components get smaller and easier to produce, you can almost see an opportunity for Apple to kind of leapfrog the current generation of some of these technologies by bringing that in-house and spinning up a new process.
Okay, Fred, quickly, let's turn our attention here to Lyft, just raising a $600 million funding round valued at $7.5 billion. What do you make of this? Do you think this was a pretty strong round?
I think this is a great round for Lyft, and it builds on their prior rounds. Last year they brought in, I think a little over a year ago, they brought in $1 billion from General Motors, which I thought was just a phenomenal move. They've closed here now on $600 million. They've brought in KKR and AB. They could very well be positioning themselves for an IPO in advance of Uber, which I think would be a phenomenal step for them. And really, when we compare the two companies, Lyft and Uber, the more time that passes, the more different these two companies look to the marketplace. And if Lyft is successful in completing their 100-city or 100 new market expansion this year, which they've pretty much locked down already, so far year to date, they could be a significant threat to Uber, and that's a big thing. Lyft incredibly focused on that car business. Uber, they're still a moonshot themselves, taking continual moonshots.
Fred, Fred, I got about 60 seconds left. Give me your macro thought. Is the market baking in just deregulation, or is the market baking in deregulation and tax cuts? Ergo, do we trade up if we get some tax movement, or do we trade down if we don't?
I think if we don't get tax movement here, I think we're likely to see the current volatility increase.
All right, Fred.
And that would be a trade down.
Okay, and let's keep it at that, because Trump on Fox Business this morning saying that he wants to get healthcare done before taxes. So we might be waiting on taxes, everyone. All right, we got to go. We'll see everyone on the other side of this break. Fred McClimans, partner at Samadhi Research, thank you so much for joining us.